She's laughing at me. So, I'm back. I'm excited to be... This is not my first flight. I've been flying for like a week. I've got my lovely wife here.
Hi.
And, but it is my first video. I'll make a short story long. I saw this video. It's called Emily. I'll link it in the description. And it's amazing. Normally it's not the kind of video I like. I like videos where they tell a story, where the guy doing it is clever enough to have like a beginning, middle, and end. It's 3 scenes. That's how everything goes.
Okay.
She's just backing me. This one just has music and acro tricks. And somehow I love it. I don't know.
Wait, that's your plan?
It was. I was going to do that. I was going to make a video that was as close to Emily as I could do it. And then my expectations just kept going higher and higher until I made no videos at all. So, This is a hobby. I am going to remove the pressure from myself. Maybe make that video one day.
Okay, because you just got back and you're really raising the bar there. So
yeah,
let's not get broken.
I like the way you're thinking. Yeah. So anyway, I've got a slight headwind for the takeoff, which is dying every time I look over at the windsock. I'm going to try and launch with the Speedster. It'll be my first time flying the Speedster since I got hurt. I flew a different wing, a Swift 4. It lifts super well, so launches and landings were easy. You want to see my dogs? I have 2 Great Danes and 1 yellow lab mutt thing. They're good dogs. Anyway, let's set up.
Hey. 30 minutes ago, the wind was like, take the fast wing, Woody, I'll help you. Now the weather, if it could say anything, it would say, psych. Here's some switchy crosswind, you idiot. Good luck.
Woody from the future here. So, aside from the fact that I had to run a long time, I got up, went back down, ran some more before I launched, I thought this launch just wasn't that interesting. It was a normal launch. There it is, going to go down, run. It was a normal launch, and what I want to do is I happen to have my first launch back from injury. I want to share that one instead, because the stoke is real.
A few hours ago, my doctors approved me to fly for the first time in a couple of months. Pretty nervous, but I do know how to do this. Oh, goodness. It's a nice wind cycle right now. Nice and easy, it should go well. That's a dream launch. Oh man, a little turbulence right now, but oh, look at me. Oh my gosh. It's been months. Oh, wow. Folks, that was great. That couldn't have gone any better. Fuck yeah!
I told you the stoke was real, right?
Alright. I was watching some Tucker Gott videos recently. Side note, I had the broken leg. I did 2 months of what I call ricey. Rest, ice, compress, elevate, and YouTube. That's how I fixed it. If I wasn't doing physical therapy, I was doing ricey. Anyway, if you don't know Tucker Gott, he's a YouTuber. You might have seen his video where he flew to McDonald's. A lot of people saw that. He is running the show in terms of YouTube paramotoring right now, and his audio quality is better than mine. So while I was out, I was like, what can I do to make my audio better? Why is it that his audio is so much better than mine? And I had a bunch of theories. The first one, of course, is the mic, right? Everyone goes straight to, I'll just buy a better microphone, and then I'll sound like him. The thing is, I watched some more videos. There's one where he goes 44 miles on a speed bar. And in that one, I thought he sounded a lot closer to me. So there's another thing that I think equipment-wise he does. His motor is heavier and it has a clutch. So the weight thing, I think it translates less vibration to the pilot because it's heavier. If there's anyone out there that's like a gun person, they'll instantly understand how like a heavier gun absorbs recoil on your behalf, while a heavier paramotor, I think it absorbs some vibration on your behalf. And then the clutch, like when he lets go of the throttle, his prop, it doesn't spin under power. It just sort of freely and silently moves around, whereas mine's still like puttering. So when he was at like a heavy throttle, I thought he sounded like me. And there's one thing I can do: turn the motor off. I think if I turn the motor off whenever I can, then my audio, like that alone, will make a huge difference in how I sound. And I think that'd be really cool. Now, I can't always turn the motor off. When you do that, you lose elevation. You lose altitude, I should say. And, you know, sometimes you need altitude. That's part of the deal. But I'm going to try and get better about either using lower power or no power so that my audio is like this, which I presume is pretty good right now compared to a few seconds ago, compared to where it is when I can't turn it down. So anyway, the wind's aloft today, super high. Like it's kind of an issue. I'm just basically crabbing sideways out and back, but the wind's on the ground super low, and they were just like light and variable, which is almost perfectly wrong. It stinks. I have a friend, Mark Honeycutt with a U, like H-U, Honeycutt. He went up in super high winds like 3 days ago. It was like 50 or 60 miles an hour at 10,000 feet. And then he flew with the winds and he went 95 miles an hour, which is the highest I've heard of. It was something like 85 knots, which is like 95 miles an hour. So, I don't know. He did some cool stuff. I feel like pimping it. So anyway, Mark Honeycutt went 95 miles an hour. And if you like paramotor videos, you'll probably like his videos too. How much? I've got 2,000 feet. I'm going to get a little altitude and then do some really mild like acro stuff, probably asymmetric spirals, because this is my first time on this wing in 2 months and I want to start slow. All right, so tip the camera up. Hopefully you can see something interesting. My turns are way better to the right than they are to the left, so I go to the right about twice as often as the left, hoping to close that gap. The winds aloft are so high. If I take a reserve ride, there's no telling where I'll land. But this is pretty cool. Kind of kicking ass. Little collapse there. I took that SIV course, and a collapse like that would have really had my attention beforehand. And now I recognize it as a technique mistake, but there's really no panic. I almost am trying to get a grip around where my attitude should be, right? Because if I get too comfortable with mistakes, then that's... Here, I'll turn off the motor. We just talked about this. If I get too comfortable with mistakes, well, shucks. You know, they could just get bigger. But if I panic about mistakes, well, you know, that's not the right response either, right? All right, you know, maybe just use more outside brake and don't make mistakes. Maybe that's the takeaway from all this. I like getting it upside down on a paramotor. That's like the point of it to me. A lot of pilots, they don't, and they judge you too. They think that, you know, that you're a bad pilot because you do like acrobatic stuff, and they're good pilots because they just do safe stuff. I don't judge them in reverse. If they choose like not to go and develop that skill set, then knock yourself out, man. You do you. So I should start this. Oh, I love my E-start. Watch this. All right, I'm gonna get some altitude, goof around some more. My friend Shane told me my camera quality sucks, but it really doesn't. It's just hazy out here. This is what it looks like in real life. All right, let's practice those asymmetric spirals to the right again. I'm doing a better... No, I'm lying. I was gonna say I'm doing a better job of taking a wrap on this wing. Okay. Now, I find that the first turn, it helps to make it a pretty good one. because if you start weak, like it doesn't really, I don't know, it takes a lot of time to sort of recover and hook into it. I could weight shift harder. Kind of doing a good job. Nice, Woody.
I just thought I'd pause here and point out how awesome this shadow is.
Good. Alright, not bad for my second one. I killed that motor on purpose so that I could talk to you guys. I don't know, I'm just having a blast up here. This Speedster, you're probably looking at it now, that wing feels like my home court. I have the most hours on it, and I haven't chosen it because it's a little faster to launch and land, and I wanted my first 5 flights or so to be really easy on my broken ankle. I thought I'd have that headwind, I mentioned this already, and I really didn't, so the landing is on my mind. I want to fly for an hour so that the fuel's a little lighter, because that helps. I don't know, so I'm just out here sort of goofing about, burning fuel, and doing my thing on what is currently my favorite wing, the Speedster 2. So, God, sometimes I almost forget like what a privilege it is to be sitting in the sky. Like this is, I am a little sad I missed 2 months. Like those are some pretty good months, end of summer, headed into fall. But, you know, all the months are good months. What am I saying? It's not like I would have been happy if I missed spring or summer. There's nothing. Oh, I like flying so much. If you said, Woody, for the next 2 months you can't walk, or for the next 2 months you can't fly, I think I'd choose walk. I think I'd be like, you know what? I'll use crutches for 2 months, and just I want to keep flying. That's where my head is. Where my head is also is a couple hundred feet off the ground. I should start up and get some altitude. It's a dream. All right, now I'm gonna mess around with some wing overs. It's my first wing overs back on this wing, so if I suck, don't judge me too harshly. Now wing overs, on the other hand, you do not have to start hard, because at least in my experience, they have like a natural tendency to get bigger and bigger. Woody, it's time to chill soon. Cool. That wasn't bad at all. Badass, maybe. Speaking of badass, well, there's a fire over there. I'm gonna go look at it and see if it's interesting. And let's turn the motor off like I promised. And this place right here, I think it's called the Tractor Place. That is where I bought my tractor. I'm pretty happy with my tractor, so I guess it's cool. But sometimes the people there are cranky old farm people, and they don't like me, I think. But I just don't fit in. But the tractor they sold was good, so that's that. Anyway, let's go check out the fire. Alright, I can't turn the motor off here for you because, you know, I'll crash into the ground. But we can check out this fire. It looks pretty cool to me. It looks like it could spread. Like, it doesn't look all that isolated, but I assume they know what they're doing. What the hell? Is there anyone there? That van was open, but... Is this all going according to plan? Oh, there's a dude there. I see him. I'm waving to him. He's waving back. I need to be aware of power lines. Power lines are not my friend. Yeah, he seems to have it under control. Alright. Well, getting back is kind of slow because the winds aloft are so high. So I should start now. So, I'm probably psyching myself out for this landing, but I'm pretty much intentionally burning gas at this point. You know, I'm just going up to 3,000 feet, acro a little bit, go down, and then go back up and just burn gas. I have 2 liters right now, which is about half a gallon, which is about 3 pounds. So it's nothing, right? Like, it shouldn't be a big deal. It makes a difference, you know. 2 is easier than 4, but still, I think it's mostly in my head. It's just a faster landing, and I want to make sure my foot doesn't get injured in the process. It should be fine. This is my 6th flight, but you know, I'm super cautious. And by the way, the sun is set. It looks okay as far as sunsets go. It's just all right. But 6:30, dude, who authorized that? I you know, when I stepped out of the game, sunsets were at like 8:30. Now they're 6:30. This is madness. So anyway, if you can see, sometimes these action cameras don't show distance very well, but there's a whole collection of houses, right? You can see the streets. Then there's a gap and another collection of houses out there. My house is that gap. It's mostly my yard. So I'm easily gonna get back in time. I have like 30 minutes to make a 10-minute flight, but that's where we're headed. I'll see you when we get there, I guess. Oop. So you can't see my face, but I've pulled my goggles down over my chin. I have these photochromatic goggles so that when the sun sets, they're light, but when the sun is out, they're dark, like darker sunglasses. And they're great, but they're not that great. You know, when it's dark like this, I need to take a breath. This is a perfect time and place to do it, because I don't want to psych myself out. I want this landing to be great. It's my first one back on this wing. I'm setting myself up for success. I'm at like 700 feet. I've got my trim set, my seat set, everything is ready. My goggles are off so I can see as well as possible. Sometimes if I'm like, I call it in the yellow or in the red, you know, I don't do the things that I know I can do. That's why I'm just sort of taking a breath, talking it through. We're gonna nail this landing. I'm going like straight down, by the way, into this headwind, but it'll die down on the ground. But I just, yeah, so I'm gonna take a minute and land this bitch like I know I can. I'm not even gonna mess with the camera anymore. I'll just edit the boring parts out. Let's leave it for post. I don't need task overload while I land this for the first time. Right here is the turbulence. You probably can't see much, but right around like 700 feet off the ground, you hit this turbulence layer and the wind stops. I wish there was some wind on the ground because I wouldn't have to run so much, but that's not the case. Now I'm moving forward easily. It's going to be a quick landing. So let's start this motor. So I think I'm going to put it down on the far side of the driveway so that I don't have to run across the driveway, which has uneven ground, and I don't want that. And normally I cut my motor off and like spot land it from really high, but again, I'm going to take every advantage I can find and motor into exactly where I want to be instead of, you know, doing tricks. Today is not the day for tricks. Like a boss, baby. Now if I could just set the wing down on its nose. Okay, like an assistant manager. But I'll take it. Dude, wildly successful. Hit my first launch, landed, hit a couple tricks, had a great time, and I am totally getting better every day.
I hope you guys enjoy the video. I like making it.
Multi-million-dollar deals, got $1 million deal. When I was younger, I would wonder how $1 million feel. And for real, it feel like I ain't even broke a seal. Cause when you drop hits, they want you to pick up the bill. Now my life is in Maryland, my heart is in Chicago. New York state of mind, but out LA, man, that's where I go. When I need to lay this shit down, so much on my mind, that's the reason I'm spitting now.